Good morning, everybody. Boy, I tell you what, we were going 1,000 miles an hour. We had a great morning. We did. Today was Grandparents' Day at my granddaughter's school. So I've already actually been like 3 towns over to the elementary school already. Had breakfast with my granddaughter. They had a bingo. It was great, man. It was great. So we got a bit of a late start this morning, but we got a good show for you. So fill your cups, grab a pen and paper. Let's do this. It's going to be a good day. Man, I'm telling you, when I get to see my granddaughter's face first thing in the morning, it's a good day. I am in a good mood. I am in a good mood. But we're going to talk about something that's just, it's not fun to talk about. We're going to talk about the bigots, and we're going to talk about weaponized immigration a little bit. I know we've talked about that several times before, but things keep happening that expose what I've been telling you about. One of the things, we've got the story breaking about the right wing influencers, I guess you'd call them, that are being paid by Russia. I've come out and said it. It's my personal opinion that they weren't. They're claiming they were duped. They're going to get away with claiming that, but they're claiming they were duped. They knew nothing about this, and yada yada yada. I'm going to tell you why they're going to get away with that. Oh, sorry about that. For folks that don't know, what's the story that's broken is that, and ET, I'm sorry to see you going early, man. I love having you here, brother. I do. Thanks for popping in this morning. Alan Davis said Cruz had an ad during the game last night that lies about calling Allred's stance on the border. Of course he is. We're going to talk about that too. Allred is not against border security. The ad centered around their worthless wall. Yeah, we're going to talk about. We're going to brush up against that today. But yeah, if you haven't heard the news, it's come out that these right wing influencers have been peddling stuff primarily here on YouTube and X, have been being paid directly by the Russians to say what they're saying and to push Russian propaganda. It's something we've been saying all along that you kind of knew by what they were saying, that they were somehow tied to Russia, but we didn't know that they were getting paid the big bucks. I mean, some of these guys were getting paid 100K a week. You know what I could do with 100K a week? But yeah, as usual, us on the left are kind of playing catch up on that. And I'm going to whine just a little bit, and forgive me for that. But you had Lauren Southern, Tim Pool, Tayler Hansen, Matt Christiansen, Dave Rubin, and Benny Johnson were all outed as being part of this tenant broadcasting that were paid 400K. Man, I love you people. I always know what the hell's going on. 400K a month. Let me tell you what that does for you. Our audience is homegrown. I had a talk a long time ago with Brett Mycelis over at Midas Touch. And when I first started on Instagram, I moved from TikTok to Instagram because TikTok's a mess. It really is just a mess, especially for creators. It's just a mess. But I moved from TikTok to Instagram for my primary shorts. And, I was talking to Brett Mycelis, and I said, "Hey man, should I pay the fee to boost my videos? Because I'm starting over from scratch. You know, I've got an audience of almost 200,000 on TikTok, but I'm starting at 0 on Instagram. And he was pretty, I mean, no. I mean, unequivocally, no. Do not do that. Do not do that. And he went on to explain, and I wholly agreed with him. Once he started explaining it, it made perfect sense. He said, look, man, we're trying to start a movement here. We're trying to get people to see things that they don't normally see. We're trying to dig deep into these stories, and we're trying to talk to people that are real and aligned with us. If you pay to boost, all you're doing is you're paying for a fake audience. Essentially, is what you're doing. Instagram says, oh, the way the business model works, like here on YouTube, I create content. You people like my content. You come here, you support my show. Google takes a cut of that, takes a taste. They also run ads on the replay of my show, and they keep most of that. I get a little taste of that. They keep most of that. That's the business model, right? I produce content people like. You watch. Y'all support it. Y'all watch ads. That's how it works, right? Well, Meta, Google, the parent company of YouTube, everybody figured out that people are just addicted to likes. They are addicted to likes. So you can get an extra revenue stream from your creators if you promise them, hey, if you pay me, I will make sure people that don't normally see your content see your content. It's called promoting your video. And when somebody's paying you $100K a week, yeah, you've got promotion money. You take every one of your videos and you pay. You're now not receiving income from the platforms. You're paying the income to the platform. Plus, to put your face in front of more people that wouldn't normally see your content. You know, we're going to keep growing this thing because you keep hitting the subscribe button, you keep hitting the thumbs up button, which tells the algorithm to invite a few people that wouldn't normally see it. It's usually between 4 and 5%. New audience is usually between 4 and 5%, somewhere in that range. But if I pay, closer to 20% of people that have never seen my content will be exposed to it. They'll push it. And that's what Russia has been doing by paying these people, is being allowing them to promote all their content. And on top of that, on social media platforms, Russia has been running their bot circus so that every one of their posts gets thousands and thousands of fake likes and interaction. It's all done by AI. So these people are given massive exposure. And it shows because, I mean, like Tim Pool has I think 1.2 million or something like that followers on YouTube. I don't know. I don't pay close attention to that. But but they get that exposure. And what does Russia get out of it? Well, Tim Pool and them were saying whatever the hell Russia wanted. The indictment that's come out talked about their objectives. And one of them, if you go take a look at the content, one of the objectives was to blame Ukraine and the United States for Russia invading Ukraine. Lo and behold, every one of these influencers went out and said it was Ukraine's fault and the United States' fault. We provoked Russia. They got the content they wanted. They put out one of the things. This just gets me. They went for the bigots. They know their audience. They do. They know their audience. They know who's going to be willing to do this. Who's going to really like what they've got to say. And it's the bigots, because one of the messages they had these folks push was that white people, due to immigration, they're going to lose their jobs. White people are going to lose their jobs. That was one of the messages that was pushed, like just insanely, that people of color and perverts, which would be the LGBTQ plus community, that's what Russia deems the LGBTQ plus community, perverts, and the disabled were going to get all the special privileges, but whites were going to have to pay for it all. That was the messaging that they're being, that they were putting out there. And of course, they were also pushing the immigration causes crime narrative, which we know is absolutely not true. Just 100% not true. The immigrant community has one of the lowest crime rates there is of any group of people in the country. Republicans have higher crime rates than immigrants do. But the message has been the same forever. And I kind of want to dig into that a little bit, because just a second. Yeah. Forgive me, I hadn't had nothing but a Diet Dr. Pepper this morning with my breakfast, because I wouldn't drink. My granddaughter got to choose breakfast this morning, so we had McDonald's. I don't normally go to McDonald's a lot. Every once in a while, I get a hankering for like those little cheeseburgers. That takes me back to my childhood. But I don't really go to McDonald's very often. But kudos to McDonald's, thumbs up. I got a sausage biscuit this morning, and wow, they have upped their biscuit game. I mean, I'm not kidding. Being a Southern boy, I was raised on biscuits. I was, so yeah, for them to actually, kudos to McDonald's, thumbs up, guys. You're moving in the right direction, even though your prices aren't. But sorry for getting off subject, but yeah, they're pushing those crazy ass immigration narratives that just aren't true. They're just not true. And I tell you, they've invested all their hopes in it. Because I put a post up the other day. About Aurora, because there was a lot of misinformation just flowing out of it. Because the misinformation started in the right-wing portion of social media, so it really didn't get to most people's attention for a couple days, and by then it had marinated and stewed into just gross, false, nasty stuff. And by the time it hit mainstream media, the mainstream portion of social media and the corporate media, the story was that some Venezuelans had taken over entire apartment complexes, and like they had snipers on the roof. We talked about this before. It was like the old plot for New Jack City. And I would like to formally apologize for calling New Jack City a B movie. I liked that movie. I just was, wasn't comparing it to like The Godfather. Whoa, that got me in trouble. Woo! That movie has some serious cult following. Oh my goodness. So let me say, I like New Jack City, but that was the plot of the narrative that they were pushing out. And it was bullshit. And I called it out. They were saying, oh, well, the city's having to shut it down because the Venezuelan gangs took over the complex. And they said, no, it didn't. Yeah, I like New Jack City too. I like New Jack City too. Don't flame me. I mean, I made the mistake of calling it a B movie, and I didn't mean an insult by that, because there's a lot of movies. Starship Troopers is another one that's just, it's not Gandhi, but I love that movie, and it's got a huge cult following. It's one of those movies. It's a good movie, but it is not Gandhi. It is not The Godfather. You know what I'm saying? Whew, man, people got hot about that. I did not mean to offend. But yeah, where I'm going with this is the truth of the story was that the owners of the apartment complex had pretty much well abandoned it. And the city was shutting it down because they had so many code violations. They were shutting it down. The right wing spun it as it was having to be shut down because Venezuelan gangs took it all over. And they had a little short video, and nobody knew what the video actually was. It was some armed gang members that were Venezuelan gang members. They were. And they were breaking into an apartment. But nobody knows what that was. Really? I mean, were they going, they don't know what that was, but they told their people what it was, which was they were going around apartment, taking over the building and kicking the people out. That wasn't true. That was just not true. The people ended up getting kicked out by the city because they were foreclosing on the apartment building. They were condemning the apartment building. But no, the Venezuelan gangs didn't kick everybody out of the apartment complex. They didn't. And what we saw in that video, they kept saying, oh, well, you can't trust your own eyes. Well, no, I can't really trust my own eyes because what you're telling me is happening in that video isn't what's happening. That's gang activity. Gang activity is in every city on the face of the planet, not what you're selling. And oh my God, they lost their freaking minds. The amount of resources they put in to pumping bots into my response, folks, that post had 2 million views by the time they got done. They literally elevated that post to insane heights because they were pumping the comments full of nastiness, full of lies. They're still waiting on the Hells Angels to show up there. You know what I mean? None of it, what they were saying was true. But they formulated this bigoted narrative that was just nasty. That was then. Well, yesterday I put a post up. Hold on. About immigration and great tacos. And this is the post. I want you to see it so that you know what I'm talking about here. Oh, got a message. This is the post. Stop trying to prevent immigrants who want to live and work here from coming. They add so much to our culture. This is my lunch today. That looks good, doesn't it? That looks good, doesn't it? Birria tacos. That's consomme there. It's beef consomme. You dip the tacos in there. I got the chicken this time because I was trying to eat a little bit lighter. That's some good looking stuff, isn't it? That broke the bots. I mean, broke them. I have blocked in excess of 1,000 bots on this one post because I talked about immigration in a good way. And I talked about the fact that I was at a restaurant run by immigrants. These are my neighbors, by the way, run by immigrants, and they do an incredible job. That broke their freaking minds because they have a narrative set around immigration. They have a narrative set around immigration, and that it's got to be scary and it's got to be bad. And I want to warn you, the stuff I'm about to show you is really not, some of it's just gross. Some of it's gross, but I want you to see the comments that came in. And these are from bots, folks. These are from bots. Okay. And no, this is not a troll. This is actually somebody that follows me, Lloyd Erickson. He was asking, is that 4,000 calories, man? No, he wasn't being ugly when he said that. No, it's not. Even if it had been the traditional birria tacos, I got the chicken ones because I was trying to, thanks for worrying about me, man. But a lot of people were asking great questions like, hey, is that goat or beef? No, man, it was chicken. It was chicken. Some people thought it was shrimp because it was lighter colored meat in it. Some people thought it was fish tacos. You know what I mean? Great conversation, man. And people that knew birria tacos were just loving it. We're just loving it. And then here come the butthurt bots because Their voice about immigration has to be negative. It's got to be awful. It's got to be insane. So let's just go through some of these. Ask any white liberal why they support an infinite flow of immigrants, and their answer will always be the food. They were really triggered by the fact that it was great food. And turns out that they have actually come up with an attack line about people that talk about other cultures and how great the food is, other non-white cultures and how great the food is. You see this. This is a trip. They've really come up. The bots have come up with a narrative, a program narrative. But this guy goes on to say, when I was in Japan, I was able to eat Italian cuisine without a single Italian in those restaurants. Huh. You get that message? You get that message? We can have their food and their culture and screw the people. We don't have to have those people. And they think that's a win, man. They think that's a win. But most people were positive, you know, they really were. Most people really were. Oh, here's Ames. Ames, you look like you're 150 pounds overweight. Try a taco salad next time. I've told you, the point of bots is to create a negative experience for you, the poster, so that you won't post any more stuff, and for the people that read your content. They want to take what was a really great thread with people enjoying themselves and people talking about where they like to get their birria tacos, and it was a great conversation. This is her point. It's just to bring negativity. That's all. To bring everybody down. And Elon wanted this, by the way. When he bought Twitter, this is what he wanted. This is what he wanted for his platform. He wanted it to be negative for the messages that he does not like. But yeah, let's just continue on. And by the way, she, by her own admission, is not in the United States. She's in Italy. Let's see. There are so many assumptions made in this post. This guy's points out that, yeah, there's a lot of things being attributed to the post that's not there. I didn't talk about any specifics of immigration, legal or illegal or whatever. I just said, hey, quit being anti-immigrant, because, you know, those people, they're the spice of life, man. Different cultures make life interesting. Blew their minds. Okay. There were some positive ones. And then they tried to nitpick every little thing. I mean, even blew up the soda bottle to find problems with the way things were spelled on the soda bottle. You know, it's just crazy. This one right here. We want them to do it the right way. That is all. That is a lie. And I'm going to show you more posts that absolutely prove that is a lie. But the way they vote and what the Republican Party does, they kill any bill that fixes our immigration system. And they always have. They will fund anything that causes pain. They will fund anything that is throwing people in prisons or cages. But anything that beefs up the courts, anything that improves our ability to vet people applying, anything that clears the backlog inside the immigration courts, anything like that, they kill. So this is a lie, but it's their fallback for their hate. The ones that can't be open about their hate, this is the shroud they hide behind. We just want them to do it legally. No, you don't. No, you don't. Exactly, Uncle Russ. Just like with the border bill, they killed the border bill that would have both added more security and streamlined the process. Yeah, this is just a lie. It's what they hide their bigotry behind for the ones that can't be open about it. And again, another one here. They could make the same meal if they went through the proper channels, assuming that the people in this restaurant were illegal immigrants. You know, I mean, they're just being horrible, be horrible. Um, doo, doo. Oh, this was a big one. This one came out by the hundreds. We have recipes. We have the recipes. You don't need those people. You can make them yourself. We've got their recipes. Immigration's not necessary anymore. Some folks call that cultural appropriation, and I just call it shitty because, I happen to like the people. I do. I happen to like engaging with people. One of the best conversations I ever had in my life was when I was in Canada. We were on the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, and I met a gentleman, and he was Sikh. If you don't know anything about the Sikh culture, or they put Sikh culture, um, we call it Sikh. So you know what I'm talking about. It is fascinating. It is amazing. The tenets of what these people believe is incredible. And this gentleman was just fascinating to talk to. He was an executive. He had worked for an airline. He had lived in Dubai. He had lived in several different places. 2-hour conversation. I'm telling you, we're so gifted and blessed here in the United States that we have so many cultures that make up our country. But these people just hate them. But yeah, I know, stick with me. I just want to, keep going along. They've got Mexican food in Tokyo too. Hop along, carpetbagger. I'm trying to find one where they call me a racist because I talk about how great the food is where I'm at, and somehow that's racist. We have the damn recipes, Paul. Thanks, honey. Tacos are low culture and exemplify the failure that is modern Americana. No, man, tacos are good, dude. We're all there having a good time. Oh, this is another sentiment right here. Dude gave it all up for a taco lunch. Wait till you see the Bible quotes. There's one in particular I'm looking for, though. I want you to see. There's actually several of them. We'll get down to them that are the same sentiment. Oh, yeah. When I told you that they had planned a response to us saying we like culture and then pointing out good food, wait till you see this cartoon. This is freaking horrific. This is awful. This is what they put out. This appears 20 to 30 times in the comments section. This same cartoon. It is dark-skinned people raping a white woman. Sarah, told you, Sarah. But their food is so yummy. Yeah. You can see there's another one. This guy, my taco lunch is well worth human trafficking, murder, rape, and fentanyl overdoses. Stupid boomer tard. I hate to tell you, guy, but crime among immigrants is lower than that of residents, and you're importing, your white supremacist organizations are the ones importing the fentanyl, which is why you're all in on blaming someone else, right? But yeah, they just got, some of them are just stupid. So culture equals food. Got it. No, but hey, that part of the culture is good. Idiot. Here's the cartoon again. Oh, I'm looking for the Bible verse too. That was good. Oh, they all had links, pictures to crimes that were committed by an immigrant, even though again, immigrant crime is far lower than what residents commit. But you got to be scared, man. You got to be scared. That's Putin, what Putin wants. Here we go. One guy says, "Isn't bro Mexican?" Yes, he is, but it's cute. He identifies as white. They attacked the cleanliness of the food preparation. Several people said, "Oh, in restaurants like that, they take poops and don't wash their hands." Anything they could to be negative. Oh, here's a good one. You are a fat pig. Y'all okay with me going through these? I mean, it's our community. I just want you to get a look at what these people are and a lot of these aren't even people. They're just bots. Most of them are actually just bots. And I know they're bots because I put additional posts out later, but the bots didn't know to change the message to the different posts. So it was posts meant for this that were appearing in other posts. The bots they're not really that good yet. Just not that good yet. I was disappointed they didn't have better bots. I thought I warranted better bots. Here we go. Yes, let's have violent gangs who murder, rape, and sell drugs so your fat ass can eat tacos. But you're getting the idea, right? You're getting the idea. And this is another cute thing that Elon does, Elon Musk. You notice that I'm out of comments here? Oh, but I'm not out of comments. Oh, no. No. I am not out of comments, but they won't show me any more comments because, I mean, there are 4.6 thousand comments, 1,400 shares. Many of them are derogatory. 1.7 million views, but they'll only show me about 100 comments now because I blocked several thousand people off of this. And once you start doing that, they quit showing them to you. So you can't block them. That's another thing that Elon does. But yeah, last thing I want to show you, I really want you to see some of these quotes. Ethnic food is the most overrated slop ever. Nothing beats a nice double bacon cheeseburger. No, dude, come on. Oh, I'm a pedo. I guess I'm a pedo now. Bro is angry and he wants you to know he's angry. This food unironically looks so mid. I don't know. It looks pretty damn good to me. How do you feel about it? I mean, that was pretty damn delicious. I'm telling you, it was. It was. But let me finish it up. One of the biggest ones that I got that I unfortunately blocked probably 250 of them was the Bible quotes, and it was about Esau and how he was tricked into giving up his birthright over a bowl of stew. Get it? They're telling the Christians, and there's no Christian love like right-wing Christian, there's no hate like right-wing Christian love. But yeah, if you like Mexican food, you're selling out your birthright. And they wrap it in the Bible so that Christians can hate. Yeah, that was a huge one. But you get the idea, right? They're really hanging everything. I mean, think about that. Think about the resources. Let me show you again. Think about the resources and the time. 1.7 million views, almost 5,000 comments, and they can't, because people are good people. 6.6 thousand likes. They're trying to ratio me is what they're trying to do. Can't get it done. And 1,400 shares. And think about that. I mean, that's a lot of resources and time and energy put into Old Texas Paul's post. What about this post triggers them? One, I didn't even mention illegal immigration. I just immigrants, period. Because I talked about immigrants positively. And I showed people something that looked good and people responded to positively. And it goes back to what Russia was paying these right-wing influencers to say. Crime all comes out of, immigration is nothing but massive crime. No, it's not. No, it's not. Economically, immigration is a great thing. I said it over and over again, rip the damn wall down, repurpose the steel and make bus stations. Let's fix the courts. Let's fix, let's pass the bill that modernizes our computer systems so that we can bring more immigrants in. There's a great video from Robert Reich. I'll share it with you. If you talk to an economist, they will tell you, immigrants are fantastic. And this is what I want to sum it up with. Let's move it back to the simplest society. Okay. Let's go back to like caveman days. Okay. Let's go back to caveman days. This is not complex. It's really easy to understand a society. If you come across a group of cavemen and you look at their society, and that society has, let's say, their little tribe has 20 people that look like me. They've got 50 people that are young, strapping men. And then they just got a bunch of little kids with them. What does that tell you about that society? It's healthy, right? They're feeding themselves. They're doing okay. The labor force that takes care of that community is there, provides the security is there. I mean, this isn't deep. It isn't hard to understand. That's healthy. That's the way it's supposed to work. What happened to America in modern times? What happened to Europe in modern? Our European folks, they're dealing with the same problem. All the first world countries are dealing with this situation. This is just reality. So you walk up to another group of cave people. 50 of the people look like me. 20 of the people are young, strapping guys. And they got even fewer kids. What does that tell you about that group? What does that tell you about their chances of survival and how healthy they are? I mean, this isn't hard. It's not complex. The bigots try to make it complex and they try to make it ugly and hateful, but it's not. It's not. For society to function, you need more younger people than you've got older people. And we're getting better at living longer. So there's more older people. And we really liked our success. We liked our lives. So we didn't pump out kids like we used to. There are very few families that are like 5+ kids anymore. 4 kids is a lot. Most people stop at 3. A lot of people don't have any. Or maybe 1. 2 at the most. You can't sustain your population that way. You can't sustain your society. You can't sustain your government. You can't sustain your security. Nothing works in that inverted pyramid. And you know it. I mean, if you just look at it in the simple form, it just doesn't work, right? It just doesn't. So what are we going to do about it? I don't know. How many of you in the audience that are like 60 and 70 years old are willing to go ahead and let's just have another kid, ladies? Start pumping out kids again. Huh? That's a serious question. I mean, we got to solve this problem, right? How many of you women in your, hell, we'll say 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, come on, man, we need some kids. Okay. I'm seeing that as taken as a resounding no. Then what? Then what? Well, here, I have an idea. You have a lot of people that like us. I mean, you don't immigrate to places where you don't like the people. You don't. I mean, there aren't a lot of people lined up to move to Russia. There just aren't. There aren't a lot of people lined up to move to China. There just aren't. But there's a lot of people lined up to move here. They like us. These immigrants, they like us. They do. They want to live with us. And they're young. It's the young ones that are immigrating. Overwhelmingly, when the caravan shows, and you know the caravan is going to show up, Putin's arranged for it already. They've already made their appearance down in southern Mexico. When the caravan shows up, it's going to be young people with kids, which is exactly what we need, right? Right? Well, the bigots will tell you, oh, well, we want Europeans. Sorry, Europe's in the same boat. They are. They're in the same boat. They don't have them to give. So what do? Immigrants. A lot of them. And we do. I unabashedly will tell you, we need a lot of immigrants and we need them quick. We're aging fast. So we need a system that's in place that can vet people so that immigrant crime stays low. And we need systems to get these people stabilized, which is another big complaint I got. I got tons and tons. Thank you, Colleen, Sarah. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the kind words and the support. Thank you. Oh, and I wanted to tell you folks, might as well slam the brakes on and tell you now, the number of cups you folks bought yesterday after that post I made about these right wingers, we're fighting against these right wingers. And I personally know right wing commentators that are selling art. I know one very popular guy, love his work. You may know him, Jim Wright, Stone Kettle Station. Great work. He subsidizes his work that he does on social media by selling photographs that he takes. Amazing photographer. And he makes pens. He makes custom pens. He turns them out on a lathe and makes custom pens. Beautiful stuff. I do too. Stone Kettle, he's very conservative and he's figured out finally that he's a Democrat. But yeah, the stuff, most of his stuff is great common sense. Love the guy. We're doing our hustles to try to pay for all this. You pay for this stuff. I don't have the Democratic Party paying me. I don't. In fact, when I go to speak for a Democratic Party, if I'm traveling, they'll put me up in a hotel. And they'll give me a little per diem for meals. That's it. If it's close, nothing. I do it for free. If I can drive somewhere and help, I am going to help the Wood County Democrats here with their Christmas fundraiser. I'm going to go do a speech for them to help them. They collect coats and do a fundraiser to get people coats every December. I'm going to go do that for free. We finance this out of our own pocket. You people support the show. These donations, you're making it all happen. And on the other side, I sell cups. I do. That's my hustle. I sell cups. That's how I pay for all this. I put that a video that basically said that. It was about a minute and a half long, explaining that, what we could do with 100K a month. How we could pay to boost all of our content so that our content was out there. We're fighting against a freaking blowtorch, and we're doing that basically out of our own pockets. And you guys support. My God, you people knew the assignment. Woo, you would not believe the number of cups. So yeah, I'm all caught up as of the ones that were ordered yesterday afternoon. And I am grateful. I am truly grateful. But the ones that y'all are ordering today, y'all ordered more cups in one day than y'all did last year. I'm not even kidding. It was like that was a lot of work, man. That was a lot of work. But thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. But where I'm going with that is I'm taking a little trip. I know the debate. I'm taking it right over the top of the debate. But I'm a tightwad. I am. And my wife needs to get away. And I love my wife more than anything. So we're going to get away. We're going to be gone for about a week and a half. So all the cups you order today and whatnot will be delayed a week, at least. About a week and a half. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you that up front. I will be posting videos. This is going to be our last live until about a week from Wednesday, probably. I'm not going to be able to make it back by Sunday to do Sunday show. So yeah, it'll be a week from Wednesday. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I'm going on another cruise. I am. Mrs. Texas Paul, she is amazing at booking these things. She watches those last minute cruise deals like crazy and just got us a phenomenal cruise that we couldn't pass up. So, and it was dirt cheap too. So yeah, you know me, I'm tight. I'm a skinflint. I'm tight. So she got us a great deal. She did. But I will be back in about a week and a half. And I just wanted to let y'all know that, hey, I'm not going to be here Sunday. I'm not going to be here Wednesday. I'm not going to be here Friday. And I'm not going to be here the following Sunday. I may do a Monday or Tuesday show. So keep an eye out. I may, to make up for it, I may do a couple additional shows, but I will not be here for the debate. But I will be posting videos. I'm going to keep track of what's going on while I'm gone. And I'll post some short videos. If you just hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button on the account. But enough of that. Let's wrap up this whole right-wing influencer thing. Just, it's more and more is coming out. Their denials are falling apart. Their denials are going to stick. By the way, they're going to get away with I didn't know who was paying me $100,000 a week. My opinion, that's crap. That is pure crap. If somebody pays me $100,000 a week, I need to know where that money's coming from. Why? Because if somebody pays me $100,000 a week, I'm hiring staff, I'm getting offices, I'm getting a studio, I'm putting it into the show, I'm going to make commitments. I need to know that money is going to be there. You follow me? And these people are trying to say, oh, no, I didn't know. I had no idea. I believe that's complete crap. Nobody goes into a deal like that and doesn't know where the money's coming from. The reason they're going to get away with it, though, is I want you to think about it. Use me as an example. That was, by the way, that was the clip from the news article where they were talking about how Russia, one of the talking points that Russia insisted that he talk about was that it was the United States and Ukraine's fault. But yeah, if somebody wanted to hire me, who would hire me? Well, it's not going to be somebody that doesn't like my message to stop my message and to get me to start telling you their message. No, that would be ineffective as hell. It just would. Who are you going to hire? If somebody's going to hire me, it's because they're going to agree with my point of view, and they're going to want to boost that point of view, and they're going to work to boost me and my profile so that their point of view that I'm regurgitating, if somebody were paying me, which nobody is paying me, by the way, which got a little case of the red ass about, but I'm not going to whine. We're always behind on this. Always. The Republicans figured out, boost their people and their messages get out. And here we are just fighting it out for, real homegrown audiences and none of the benefits. But yeah, maybe the Democrats will figure it out one day. But yeah, whoever's going to hire me is going to agree with what I say. So all of these trash commentators that are being paid by Russia, they were saying this shit already. They were. They didn't go hire people that didn't agree with them. They were preaching to people that were receptive to this kind of thing. That's why they're going to get away with claiming, oh, I didn't know who was paying me. I just kept saying the shit I was saying. And it's going to work because they were saying it before they were getting paid. But it has had quite a bit of fallout because now that Russia's figured out the tap is closed, people are getting let go left and right. You got Scott Ritter, the convicted pedophile who's a right-wing loudmouth. Now, you may remember him back in the day during the early Iraq invasion. He was one of the people that was weapons inspector that was saying the whole W&D argument was BS. Well, he completely flipped on a dime and went pro-Russia, pro-right-wing, just nutso stuff. And he's been working for Russia Today. And he has been investigated for a FARA violation where he wasn't declaring that he was representing a foreign government. But they had to cut him loose. He put this out today. The actions by the Department of the Treasury in levying new sanctions against RT, Sputnik, and other Russian media organizations has made it impossible for me to continue my work as an outside contributor for RT and Sputnik, as well as participating in interviews and other collaborations with Russian media. So yeah, they're not hiding it. This is Scott Ritter, by the way. You may remember his face. But yeah, he's been convicted as a pedophile twice. Convicted. And I'm not just like being a right-winger and just calling anybody I don't like a pedophile. That's why they do it, because they're all freaking convicted pedophiles. So they, projection, accuse everybody else of that which you're guilty. Yeah, he's a convicted pedophile. Yeah, he's just flat out saying it. Oh, they cut off the tap. I'm fired. But it's going to get much deeper, folks. It is. It's going to get much, much deeper. This is the Attorney General from Virginia. And, I've railed against Greg Abbott and it's all from Putin. It's all from Putin. They've done it. They did it in Italy. They did it in Denmark. They did it in Finland. They did it in Sweden. They did just over and over and over again. They use these same disgusting arguments that you just saw in that post about you don't need these cultures. The cultures bring crime. They bring disease. You don't need these people. Everything good about them you can just take. All of it. And then they sponsor a caravan. Germany. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Don. Then they sponsor a caravan, or they go and they find some immigrant somewhere that committed a crime, or they invent a crime like Aurora, where they take something that is like gang activity, which is just low level crime. And then they create this whole false narrative of what it is. And they think it's going to get them to the promised land. They think it's really going to scare enough people and touch the bigotry and nastiness within people.
I'm here in West Texas at the border, just received a high-level briefing. Folks, it's worse than I could possibly imagine. This is the largest human migration in American history, and what they're doing is they're doing the definition of a catch and release program. They're giving a piece of paper that says, we'll see you in 5 years. And what we're seeing is not just human trafficking, massive quantities of drug trafficking right now. The border's overwhelmed. We need to secure the border now. I'm proud to be part of a coalition of AGs working to secure our border.
Same nonsense, just more crap. And they really think it's going to get them to the promised land. So every time I come out with a post that says, immigration is a good thing, Russia will actually spend resources to try to counter old Texas Paul. And I just find that freaking insane. I just find it insane that they're willing to do that. It blows my mind. But you can see it in the posts. I mean, and the numbers are there. Meanwhile, real things are happening. We just had a jobs report out. 142,000 jobs didn't meet expectations. You know what that means? They've been intentionally choking down the economy. Unemployment fell, even though the expected job creation didn't quite meet expectations. But the unemployment rate fell. Why? Why would that happen? Normally, you need about 200,000 jobs per month just to sustain unemployment right where it is. Normally, if you're below that, unemployment goes up. Why hasn't it? That's a good indicator that the economy has slowed. The raising interest rates, everything they did to try to choke the economy down to get inflation under control has worked. It's worked. Time to open it up again. And because the Biden administration really did the work, they raised the interest rates. They didn't do it. Trump did. Trump just left interest rates down and, didn't matter what happened. That's why we had such a horrible inflation explosion. They never thought about supply and demand after COVID. They didn't put two thoughts into anything. The Biden administration has been well ahead of this. And when I say well ahead of it, yeah, we got this financial, this jobs report, which tells us, okay, the economy is slowing because even though we had under 200,000 jobs, we didn't see an uptick in unemployment. That tells you the economy's slowing a little bit. How do we know that they're ahead of it? Because Jerome Powell said last month, the head of the Federal Reserve said last month, we're going to lower interest rates. It's time to lower interest rates. Janet Yellen, they're ahead of this. They're doing their jobs. Meanwhile, what are the Republicans doing? Immigration, man. You got to be afraid of that immigration. Them damn tacos ain't worth it. You could take the tacos and kick the immigrants out. I mean, really, just the juxtaposition. Just the juxtaposition back and forth. No, Jerome Powell sets interest rates. And the board of the Federal Reserve sets interest rates. And they work with the White House. I saw the comment there that you said the president doesn't set interest rates. Yeah, I never said he did. I said Jerome Powell came out last month and said they're going to do it. They're going to raise interest rates. And the administration is working with them. Forgive me for scratching. But yeah, and on top of that, we've got Trump and the Republicans just being insane. You know what? Before I get to Trump and them, I want to do one more thing about the bigots. We just had the shooting at Appalachia High School down in Georgia. And, it's just, how many times have we heard this same story? You got a kid who's not right in the head, exposed to all this crazy narrative, and his daddy gave him an AR-15. The FBI came and talked to this kid's dad and this kid last year. Back in 2023, he made threats. And there wasn't really enough evidence to prosecute him, to charge him. So after the FBI came and talked to him about his kid making threats, this dipshit thought it was a good idea to go out and buy his kid an AR-15. Yeah, that really happened. After the FBI came and talked to him about his kid making threats. Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. I love you folks. I really do. Andrea, I hope you're doing well, Andrea. I think about you every day. I do. But yeah, I love you folks for being so far ahead of this. I actually have video of his father's arraignment. We're about to watch it. But when you watch this arraignment and you hear his broken cry, remember this. The FBI came and said, "Sir, your son has made threats." And his reaction was to go buy his son an AR-15 and give it to him. But yeah, here's the arraignment. I want you to listen to this whiny ass.
And at this hearing, I'm first going to ask you just a few questions, and then I'm going to advise you of your rights and also let you know about a preliminary hearing that's been scheduled for you. Why don't you just state your name, please? All right, pull the microphone down, please. There you go. All right, and how old are you, Mr. Gray?
54.
And are you able to read and write and understand the English language without any difficulty?
Yes, sir.
How far did you go to school?
54.
11th grade GED.
Okay. And I note that you have counsel seated with you at the table. Do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney at all times for this and all future proceedings in your case?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that, of course, if you cannot afford an attorney, that the public defender will be appointed to represent you upon your request?
Yes, sir.
All right. And counsel, would you identify yourself, please, for the record?
Donna Seagram.
So yeah, I mean, he's 54. I'm such a scared. Look at me humble down. Yeah, you're the guy that after they came and told you your son is making threats or is such a gun nut jackass, you went out and bought your son an AR-15. That's what every 14-year-old needs. I know 14s are so known for their restraint, their common sense, their worldly experience that, yeah, let's hand them a weapon of frickin' war. And I love saying that because it just makes the right wingers' heads explode. AR-15s have never been used in war. They have never been. You don't even know what AR stands for. Armalite, yeah, I know. And Eugene Stoner was a freaking moron. His AR-15 sucks. I take an AK-47 every day and twice on Sunday over an AR. They had to redesign the AR to work like Kalashnikov's design, but I'm getting off on a tangent. But yeah, the bigotry, the nastiness that you saw in my posts, this is who the Russians are working. Exactly, the amosexuals. This is who the Russians are working to excite. This is one of the victims. This is Mason. I will not show you the shooter. I will not. He's a minor, and I will not show you the shooter. This is one of the victims. This is Mason Shimmerhorn. That's Mason Shimmerhorn. By everyone's account, a wonderfully sweet young man. This is Christian Angulo, the other victim. Actually, there were 9 other people wounded, but these are the young men that died. This is Christian Angulo. Again, everybody raves about this young man. What a big-hearted, sweet individual he was. Those 2 pictures that I just showed you are who the right-wingers, the same people that rolled into my tacos post where we were having a good time talking about the food that we love, with all the bigoted, nasty comment, have taken those 2 images that I just showed you, and they have spread it around the right wing. Those are the shooter. They post those images and say that's Colt Gray. Wonder why. Can anybody explain to me, or anybody put their finger on it? What about those 2 young men would make a bunch of bigots post their picture and say that they're the shooter? Yeah. I'm sick of this, and we are not going back. 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 We're going to enjoy our tacos. We're going to fix our society. We're going to have immigrants. We are. And we're going to love it. And we're going to have a great life because of it. If you have never been to a Mexican fiesta or a fiesta from Venezuela or Guatemala, you have missed out, my friend, and you're going to get the chance because it is a good freaking time. I'm talking music and dancing and food and people laughing and having a great time. That is the culture. That's the culture. You work hard, you play hard, and we're going to have a lot of those people in our country. Bigots be damned. We are. We are. Because this is the opposite choice. And this is what I want to wrap up with. I call the corporate media out all the time. I do. Last show, I put up a post by Majid, my good friend Majid. Y'all know him as Brooklyn Dad. Just had a great hour-long conversation with him just the other day. After the show, I was thinking about him. I'm like, man, I put your post up. I hadn't talked to you in forever. I wanted to catch up. He's got a super gifted young daughter that's just the apple of his eye. He's got a book coming. He's going to come up here and promote his book. Brooklyn Dad will be on the show. He's got a book coming out in October. He's going to be one of our guests when I get back. He's super great guy. Just when you talk to him, you can just feel the man's heart. He's a good man. But yeah, we were talking and just basically back and forth about this bigotry and this nastiness. And it's just, we're not going back. I mean, you've got Kamala Harris. What's not to love? Tim Walz, what's not to love? Versus this is Donald Trump at the Economic Club in New York, at the Economic Forum, where he was supposed to answer questions. And I won't play all of them, but they were all of them were disasters. All of them were disasters. But where I was going when I was talking about Majid was the corporate media spent over 1,200 days and tens of thousands of stories, literally, about Joe Biden's age and his cognitive ability. I want to know if they're going to talk about this.
If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio and my daughter Ivanka were so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that because look, childcare is childcare. It's couldn't, there's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country. Because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as childcare is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make America great again. We have to do it because right now we're a failing nation. So we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Did any of you pull a policy out of any of that? This is a policy forum. He is supposed to speak about policy. Was there anything in there? No, he's just pudding brain. He's got a couple catchphrases that he just repeats. It's going to be amazing growth like no one's ever seen before on the face of the planet, anywhere. No. I know that's a long clip, and it was just, I don't know about you. When I listen to it, I start to get a hum. I mean, I can't, I don't even hear his words anymore because it's just word salad nonsense. He has nothing. And it's not even that he's stupid. His brain is degenerated to the point where he cannot talk about anything. He's just got a couple catchphrases. Here's another clip. And I'm sorry, again, I had to play the whole clip so that you understood. He actually wrapped up without actually talking about childcare at all. I got one more for you. Stick with me on this one. This one is a bit of a technical question. And mind you, he did this poorly. I want you to listen to the opening to this question. Larry Kudlow was one of the people on this group that were feeding him the question. These were his people. These were the friendliest frickin' questions that were handed to him in the kindest, gentlest way. But listen to how this goes, talking about deficits.
Mr. President.
Hi, John.
First, let me thank you for your presentation today. President Trump, in the last fiscal year, the fiscal deficit under the Biden administration was approximately $2 trillion. Under the policies you've announced, the deficit would come down from items such as increased revenues from tariffs, as well as eliminating the tax incentives for the Green New Deal. These gains would
Sorry, muted. I know, muted. Sorry. I didn't want to make noise over the video. I just want to call your attention to this. Just how friendly these questions are. First of all, Joe Biden reduced the deficit, but this question is framed in like, oh, Joe Biden created these deficits. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He has reduced those deficits 100%. But it's produced to Trump in a way that Trump can attack him. Then he says a couple things that aren't true. He says your cuts to the Green New Deal, and yeah, I know I need an unmute mug, right? So I can remember to look. That's it. Unmute yourself, man. That's funny. That is funny. I love you people. I do. I sit here, I read the chat during the whole show. Sometimes I get distracted. You'll see me have to recollect my thoughts because I'll get lost in your chat. I'm part of your conversation. I love you people so much. You're right. I need an unmute mug. But you'll also hear him talk about two things, the tariffs and the Green New Deal. And the two premises he puts up here they're lies. They're just false. His tariff will not decrease the deficit. Everybody's done the math on this. The minute he slaps those tariffs on, revenues go down. The economy tanks. So tax revenues will tank. So this premise that this guy just puts forward about, your tariffs are going to cover some of the costs of this and reduce the deficit, that's a lie. No economist agrees with that. And the Green New Deal actually adds revenues to our government. When he cuts those are not going to in any way decrease they'll actually exacerbate our deficit. So that you know, both those things were just false, and give me softballs to Trump. But listen to how he handles this.
Would be mitigated by decreases in revenues from policies such as no tax on tips. Overall, what do you estimate will be the impact of the fiscal deficit from your policies?
Well, we just hit record highs at numbers that nobody ever thought possible. You're right, it's over $2 trillion. Nobody thought that was a number that was, you can go back 4 years. Nobody thought a number like that would be possible. It's crazy. It's just horrible, actually. But yeah, we're $2 trillion. And
he did it. It's his tax plan. Trump did it. And yes, everybody saw it coming. Everybody said this is exactly what will happen if you implement your tax plan. Everybody said it. I don't know what this nobody saw it coming thing is. Everybody saw it coming. And even the corporate media said, this is going to blow up the deficit. And again, Joe Biden over the last 3 years has worked to decrease the deficit.
And I view it as profit and loss to a certain extent. A lot of people say, oh, it's trade. You have many people say trade deficits don't matter. I think they matter a lot. We're going to have tremendous growth. What I'm talking about is all about growth. The tax is relatively minor compared to the growth. We're going to make our money back on growth. We're going to also, we're going to grow like nobody's ever grown before. I think if this all works out, you're going to have the auto industry come back.
Again, back to the magic growth, the growth that everybody that understands the economy, every economist, Goldman Sachs came out and said what he just said is a load of crap. His policies that he's proposing will destroy our economy and shrink our GDP. Period. So this magic growth, imaginary growth, Danny, that he's talking about is just made up crap. Anybody can say that. I can say, you know what, guys, if you keep listening to my show, your retirement incomes, your paychecks, everything gonna double. It's gonna double. It is. Watch. It's gonna double. And I don't have to prove shit. I can just say that. I can pull it out of my butt. It's not true, but hey, I could say it, right? Because that's what Trump is doing here. John Diller says, look for the product launch of the new orange Mumbleade salad dressing. No kidding. Mumbleade salad. That's a good one. That's a good one, my guy. But let's finish this up.
Come back to America. Right now, China is building 2 auto factories in Mexico, massive auto factories. And they think they're going to make their cars in Mexico and send them back into the United States with no tax. It's not going to happen. Under this administration, it's going to happen. And they wanted to do that during my administration. I said, if you do it, We're going to put a 200% tariff on every car, and you'll never be able to see it. There will never be one car coming across our border. And if I would have let them do it, we would have had these 2 factories. Well, now they're building massive factories, more than 2, and they're going to kill Detroit. And
Do you know why they're building the factories in Mexico? The trade deal Trump signed. Yeah. The trade deal Trump signed allows companies to build in Mexico as part of our free trade deal, part of the North American free trade deal that he signed. Yeah. Trump did that.
And the head of the union, the United Auto Workers in Detroit, has done a terrible, terrible job, just a terrible job. But we're going to bring tremendous growth back. And remember, we're also taking in a certain percentage. I won't name the percentage today, but it'll be a certain tariff percentage, which will be higher than people had heard in the past. And we will be bringing in billions and billions of dollars, which will directly reduce our deficits. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, good job feeding me that softball question. Yeah, exactly. That was all Trump. And Trump did it because his billionaire frat boy donors told him to. And he'll do it again. And by the way, the reason China is building EV factories in Mexico is because our manufacturers drug their feet for so long. There are now EV options all over the place. There are. But for the longest, our car manufacturers thought they were going to tell us, no, you're going to want what we tell you you want. That's 70s all over again, people. 70s. And surprisingly enough, the 2 biggest Japanese manufacturers, Toyota and Honda, they jumped on the bandwagon. Honda's way behind. I love, you know me, I love Hondas. I do. Great cars. Great cars. I will rave about Hondas all day long. But they are way behind in the EV game. You know who said we'll do that? Our European friends. Volkswagen. They're pumping out EVs, man. They are. I cannot wait for the ID Buzz to come. I don't know if you've seen that. The new bus is going to be electric. I cannot wait for that thing to come out. I cannot wait for that thing to come out. I am seriously looking at that. But yeah, that's why China's doing that. That's why it has nothing to do with the unions. The unions are like, man, we'll build anything. We'll build freaking dump trucks if you want us to. That's what we do. The unions don't decide who builds what where. They just represent the people. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, folks. I mean, just keep your eye on the ball. They are blasting out these trolls all over social media. They're blasting out just crap messages, and they're just awful. They're just awful. You know, one of the ones that tweets, I was really hoping to find it, but like I said, Elon, when you start blocking tweets, will take them away from you so that you cannot bring them up on your own page. One of them that was just repetitive all over was that we need to vet immigrants so that no one is able to apply for immigration status except for the people that are hardworking, honest, and good people. And we don't want those people either. I mean, they just over and over again, I kept seeing that post, copied and pasted in different bot after bot after bot. It didn't matter that, the original, well, we just want them to do it legally bullshit. They just dropped that facade and said, it doesn't matter if the immigrants are good and decent people. We don't want them either. Bigotry. It's bigotry. It is. It's just awful people. And we're going to win. We're going to win. I got one more that I want you to hear. This is a radio clip. It's an audio clip from Ron Johnson. Russia, Ron Johnson. He was Russia before Russia was cool, man, in the Republican Party. And I just want you to hear the insanity and the craziness that comes from these people. This is going to blow your mind.
Is there something that can head off the debt crisis that can give, let's assume, a Trump presidency time to work on these things?
Well, we've been doing it for years by just printing more money. Now, one of the interesting revelations of Creature from Jekyll Island is the fact that the Great Depression was pretty well planned. You know, all the big money men were pretty well warned that they were going to finally collapse the system. They had booms and busts, but they had to finally just collapse the system, kind of start all over. So pull your money out of the market. And so again, they're the big and powerful, you know, the Joseph Kennedys of the world, you know, the JP Morgans of the world. They got off scot-free. They got out of the market in time. So again, I know this. I know it really sounds like conspiracy theory. I don't completely understand it, but it sure seems, it's just in my bones. I just feel there's a great deal of corruption and control there that the vast majority of people do not understand. And again, when you're the few people who do understand, and you've got the levers of power.
Okay, so you got the short of it. We don't have to play the whole thing, and I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to. Yeah, the Great Depression wasn't what we were all told. It's a conspiracy. The rich and the powerful really caused it for their own gain. They said, no, they were jumping out of frickin' windows, man. Rich people were body bombing themselves out of frickin' windows. No, the ultra wealthy didn't escape the Great Depression unscathed. No, this whole rewriting of history that it's all some conspiracy. The JFK assassination, I'm going to release. Oh, those pedos don't want me to release the JFK notes. Trump says this stuff out loud. Out loud. They're insane. And we got a chance to end them, folks. We do. We got a chance to make this all start dying by not rewarding it. Because, you know, Russia won't do this forever. The more they keep losing, they'll lose interest. They will. They won't pour good money after bad. Just show up and vote. That's all you got to do. Check your registration. Make sure you're still registered so they can't cheat, because they are cheating. They are cheating. I had another person get in contact with me saying, hey, please talk about it, Paul. My sister just went down and checked her registration and it wasn't there. She was on the suspension list here in Texas for no reason. Never moved, never anything. So yeah, check your registration, get your ass out to vote, and we can put an end to this. Because let me tell you, those bots that were in all those posts don't vote. And don't make a damn bit of difference. Polls don't vote. So it doesn't matter how good the polls look. It doesn't matter that they keep telling you, well, Kamala Harris is still ahead. Well, you know, even the news media polls are saying, well, she's ahead by a little bit. You know, they don't want to say that she's kicking Trump's butt because, you know, then the ad money dries up when people realize he's already figured out he's going to lose. But you can't take your foot off the gas. Just because we're on the road to victory doesn't mean you get to sit home on election day, or you don't have to support candidates, or you don't have to. No, that's not true. You've got to. Anyways, that's what I've got for you today. I'm going to miss you people so much. I am. Over the next few days, hold down the fort for me. Keep doing the good work. Keep fighting the good fight. You know, don't forget about me. I'll be gone for a week and a half, but man, this is going to be a good time, and I'm going to go do it. I love you folks. Thank you all for the incredible support and being here and being who you are. I'm going to miss the crap out of you people. You have no idea how much. Well, you see the stuff that I read all day long. I mean, for me to block thousands of people means I had to read thousands of posts calling me a fat ass and calling me this and calling me that. And, you know, just all kinds of nastiness all day long. Getting away from that to being able to spend time with you. I don't know if you notice, I've been sitting here watching the chat this whole time. Just reading your comments and being in touch with you folks, being part of this community. Y'all keep me going, man. You really do. I love you people. Hang together while I'm not here. I will post some videos. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.